Hello and welcome to Rathod's IAS Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 5th April 2025. So let's get started with our discussion. And today is Saturday, so there are very less number of articles which are relevant from our examination point of view in our today's newspaper. Let us see those articles. And I want to make a small important announcement, guys. We in Rathod's IAS Academy, we are going to start Prelims cum Mains Foundation course for 2026. And this is going to be started from April 8th onwards. And we are going to provide you the 5 days of free demo classes from April 8th to April 12th. And the class timings is afternoon 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. So try to attend those classes. And we are providing both on online and offline. And if you want to get online demo classes, please download our Rathod's IAS Academy app from the Play Store. So you will be getting notification before starting of that class. And one thing here is, if you have any query regarding this courses or demo classes, everything, so you can contact us on this number 8074765513. Don't forget, guys. And now let us see the first important article. So if you see the title of this article, it says that China hits back with 34% tariff on US goods. So what is this topic is about? It is about trade war, right? Okay, so let me write that keyword here. It is about trade war. So why I'm talking about this trade war here? So whenever this Trump 2.0 era started, so from that time onwards, what happens? Tit for tat kind of tariffs or nothing but taxes on imports is happening between different countries. US started imposing that tax on Canada goods, Mexico goods, and Chinese goods, and even iron and steel goods. Even India is affecting with that. And now tit for tat. Now what happened? China is imposing 34% of tariffs on goods which are coming from US now. So this is an example of trade war. Okay. So in which subject you can see, guys? So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations, first of all. And apart from this topic also important from your GS paper 3 under economy. So in your economy, especially which chapter you will be dealing with this? So we have this chapter called as international trade or trade. So what will be there in the trade? You will be studying about exports and as well as imports. You will be studying about imports and as well as exports. So on that, what happens? Other countries will be imposing tariff or nothing but taxes. For what? To protect their domestic industries. That is nothing but protectionism. Right? So here, this article is important from that point of view. And even you have to see about international organizations. For example, what is the role of WTO in ensuring free and fair trade? Okay, so you have to see about what is the role of WTO also. So what are the things that you have to see? First one is from international trade and second one is from international organizations. So what exactly you have to see, guys? You have to know about what is meaning of imports and what is exports. First important thing. And next you have to see what is this tariff. And whenever tariff is imposed, what is the impact on that country and as well as other countries. And next you have to see about what are the measures can be taken. And apart from this, you have to see what is the role of international organization like WTO to ensure free and fair trade. So all these are very important. So from international relations point of view, which comes under GS paper 2, you have to see because of this trade war, how foreign policy is affecting and how Indian diaspora or any other country's diaspora will be getting affected in that country. And what about the geopolitical conditions? Okay, so if you see these dimensions, then this is done. Okay, so these all are the things that you have to see from this article point of view. Okay, now let us see the context. So what is the context? It is saying that China announced that it will impose 34% of tariff on imports of all US products. And from when? That is from April 10th. So from April 10th onwards, China is going to impose 34% of tariff on the goods which are coming from US. So here you have to know about trade war, right? So what is the meaning of trade war? So trade war occurs when nations impose tariffs or trade barriers against each other. Okay, so how it happens, let us draw a diagram and let us see clearly. For example, let us take this is country 1. Okay, let us take this is country 2. So between these two country trade is going on. That means imports is happening and exports is happening. From this country to this country it is called as exports. From this country they are getting into their country, they are called as imports. Imports and exports are happening. Okay, let us take one example called as a pen. Okay, so pen. So actually this country 2 is manufacturing its own pens. Okay, that means nothing but domestic companies, they are producing pens of their country. And not only that, they are also importing same pens from this country too. Okay, so if what happens here is, whenever in the same market, whenever we are having the pens of different countries, so which one you will pick up? You will pick up the pen which is having the low cost, right? For example, let us take this imported pen cost is 5 rupees. But whatever the cost of the pen that you are manufacturing in your country is 10 rupees. For example, you went to China Bazaar or any stationery shop to buy the pen. And here you got the same qualities of that pen which is costing 5 rupees and which is costing 10 rupees. So if they are having same qualities like ball nib and they are writing fast and they are also very thick and there is a good grip, like that means you will be obviously buying this imported goods. So that what happens? So there is a decreasing of supply for your domestic goods, right? So what happens whenever domestic goods are decreasing? What about your GDP? So what is GDP? GDP is nothing but the total final goods. Okay, the total value of final goods of goods and services which are produced in your country within your time. So whether these imported products which are produced in your country? No, they are from other country, right? So what happens if for your GDP, if the demand is decreasing in our country, GDP also decreases. Whenever GDP decreases, can you ensure economic growth and development? There will be no economic growth and development. So for that, what happens? Now it is a responsibility of government of this country to protect this domestic industries, right? So what is the weapon they will be using? They will use this weapon called as tariff or taxes. So now what happens is government will be imposing tariffs or tax on this imported products. So whenever government is imposing tariff or tax on that imported product, so now the pen will be available for more cost. The same will be available for the more cost in the market. So now it will be like 10 rupees. So this is also 10 rupees and this is also 10 rupees. So there will be the equal level playing field for the imported goods and as well as domestic goods. And sometimes if they are levying more amount of tax, for example, now China is imposing 34% of tax. Okay, for example, let us take the initial product cost is 100 rupees earlier. But if they are imposing 34% of tax means, now what is the price of that good? 134 rupees, right? So what happens? So if we are imposing more tax, then this product cost will be increased and this product cost will be increased. Obviously what happens? We are going to increase the demand for our domestic product. So whenever we are increasing the demand, obviously what happens? There will be increasing of GDP growth, increased production. So whenever there is increased production, we can also increase employment opportunities. Whenever we are increasing employment opportunities, they will be getting salary. So whenever they are getting salary, we can decrease poverty and as well as we can decrease hunger. We can decrease malnutrition. So everything is interconnected, guys. Okay. So because of that, here the countries, for protection of their domestic industries, for protection of their economic growth and to improve economic activities and to solve the problems like poverty, hunger and malnutrition, okay, to overcome the challenges in their countries, so they will be imposing this import taxes or tariffs. So that is the thing that you have to see. Okay, so this is the one thing that you have to remember regarding why this tariffs which will be imposed by the countries. And if you see what is this trade war is nothing but when the nations impose tariffs or trade barriers against each other in the retaliation. For example, initially US said we are going to impose 35% of tax on these Chinese products. And also now Chinese said that we are going to impose 34% of tax. That means in tit for tat, whenever the countries are going for imposing of tax on each other goods, so that what happens, it will be disrupting the trade between the countries, and that is called as trade war. So actually this trade war is very harm economically, and it also leads to unfair trade practices, and even it will disrupt global supply chains, and obviously it will lead to increasing of production cost, and overall product cost will be increased in the market. Okay, so what is the impact of this trade war globally? Do you know the stock markets, that is national stock market and as well as Bombay stock market, etc.? So here, if you watch this at least headlines every day in your mother tongue, you will be seeing Sensex value had been decreased, Sensex had been fall down, like that. So actually what happens, because of this trade war, obviously the demand for the goods from that so and so country will be obviously fluctuated. So because of that, our stock market will be also volatile. So the prices of the stock will be also be fluctuating. So this is one impact. And this one here is supply chain disruptions. So because of increasing of these tariffs, what happens? Production cost will be obviously increased. So because of this, what happens? Supply chain disruptions will happen. We'll be not getting goods on the time, etc. Everything. And this one is even currency fluctuations will happen. So as you all know that value of dollar against money, that is Indian rupee. If you see what is the value now, $1 is equal to around 85.6 rupees, right? So how this value will be determined? So it is determined based on the supply and demand. That is nothing but market forces. So whenever there is a fluctuations in supply and demand of the goods or the money in the market, obviously that will lead to the changing of value of dollar, and as well as appreciation or depreciation of rupees dependent on this. And next one here is the product price will be not constant. There is a swing. Sometimes it will be high, sometimes it will be low. And this one is even there will be shift in trade alliances. If one country is imposing taxes, then what we will do? Will not get the good from that country, and now we will be searching for other country which is providing that same good, right? That is nothing but we are shifting our alliances. That means agreements with the different countries. And what is the impact on India, especially in this trade war between India and US? Actually, US said that we are going to impose taxes on iron and aluminium products. So because of that decision of US, 5 countries are majorly get affected. So in that 5 countries we have Mexico, Canada, China, UAE and India. India is also there. So because of this decision of US, India will be also getting affected, right? So what is that negative impact? Especially we are going to have impact on our electronics and gadget companies and even pharmaceuticals. Even automobile sector of our India will be getting affected, and obviously stock market. So what is a positive impact? For example, if if US is imposing taxes on other country products like Mexico and as well as Canada or China, so if that product which is coming from India means, then what happened? There will be increasing of demand for Indian products in US. So because of this, there is also a chance of rising of our exports to US. And next one is it will be also boosting our Indian IT sector, especially US companies are reducing reliance on now Chinese technology because of this tit for tat trade war between India and China. So because of this, in that gap we can enter. And this one here is agriculture exports. So India took advantage of China reducing US agriculture imports in 2018. So because of this, India is having a chance. So in these all ways, so we are having certain advantages and as well as disadvantages because of this trade war. Okay, now let us see the next article. Title says, Supreme Court directs CEC to survey forest in Agastya Malai for encroachments. Okay, so very, very important topic. So here now Supreme Court itself directing CEC, that is nothing but Central Empowered Committee. Here CEC is not Chief Election Commissioner here. It is Central Empowered Committee. And why Supreme Court is directing? To see whether the encroachments are happening, that is illegal encroachments are happening in this Agastya Malai or not. And this topic is important, very, very important, Agastya Malai. So where you will be studying about this topic, guys? From GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. We'll be seeing that topic.
Okay, actually in 2019, if I'm not wrong, there was a question in your UPSC related to this Agastya Malai. Okay, which of the following comes under this Agastya Malai Biosphere Reserve, like that you got a question. So whenever you're getting question from environment and ecology, it may be from static or it may be from geography plus environmental combination, and as well as only purely current affairs based. So here you have to see even geographical location whenever you are saying any important national park or biosphere reserve which is in use. And here you have to see about even illegal encroachments. So why now Supreme Court directed to see or to study about these encroachments? So as you all know that Agastya Malai, which comes under which part? It is a part of Western Ghats, right? So Western Ghats is well known for what? Biodiversity, and it is also one of the hotspot, right? So if we are having these illegal encroachments, can we ensure biodiversity conservation there? No. So because of this, here now Supreme Court directed CEC to study about whether illegal encroachments are there or not. Okay, so that is the thing that you have to see, guys. And now let us see the context. Supreme Court of India has mandated Central Empire Committee to carry out a comprehensive survey of this Agastya Malai Biosphere Reserve in Western Ghats. And actually it is located in 2 states, that is Tamil Nadu and as well as Kerala. So here you may get even geography based question like consider the following statements regarding Agastya Malai Biosphere Reserve. So it is located in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. No, it is in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. In that way also, with small changes, UPSC will play a game. So you have to be very much careful about these places for sure if you are dealing with this environment related questions, guys. So this is the one trap which will be used by UPSC. And next, if you see the details, it says that ecosystem vulnerability. So Agastya Malai landscape is very much crucial for both biodiversity and as well as climate regulation. So why? If you study about your monsoons from your Indian geography, so Western Ghats plays a very important role or not. As this monsoon winds, they come and they hit which coast first? Kerala coast on June 1st. After that, what happens? So because of this Western Ghats, they are continuous, right? So we will be having certain gaps. For example, Borghat Gap, Thalghat Gap, right? So from that gaps, these winds, they will move and they will cause rainfall in this part, right? So here, because of this, Western Ghats plays a very important role even in this geography related concepts and as well as climate regulation. So which kind of forest you are present in this Western Ghats? So normally Western Ghats will be receive very high rainfall. Yes or no? Because of this monsoonal rainfall. So because of this, we will be having tropical forest, and especially this forest are very important for maintaining of ecological balance. And now here court is directing the CEC to make some study, to do some study or to do some survey for encroachments in this region. So because of that, we can safeguard this delicate environment. So we have to stop this illegal encroachments in this region. And next one here is, if you see why the Supreme Court gave this decision, because already it had some history regarding illegal encroachments which were happening in this region. So because of this, what happened severely already this region which had been impacted by this illegal encroachment. So we have to stop to that some extent. So because of this, Supreme Court gave this thing. And next one here is, judges also noted that already global warming is happening, increasing of global temperature, and even this year we are going to have this El Nino. El Nino means nothing but there is less rainfall and more temperature. And that means we are going to have more heat waves this year. So because of this, what happened? Already the climate change is exacerbated. So whenever the climate change is happening, what happens? Obviously the forest cover will be getting affected. For example, in this El Nino, if there is increased temperature, what happened? So dryness will be more, right? So because of that, what happened? Will the trees survive at the very high temperature? No, and they require more water. So because of this heat also, water evaporation will be more. So do we get proper amount of water to the plants? No. So because of all these things, yes, we have to take proper steps for increasing of awareness, and we have to raise this local environmental issues. Okay, that is the thing which mainly said here. And if you see some facts regarding this Agastya Malai Biosphere Reserve, actually it is a protected area. Where it is located? It located in southern Western Ghats. Okay, and the name which got that is nothing but Agasthyamala Biosphere Reserve, because in this region, Agasthyamala Peak is the one of the highest peaks in Western Ghats. So because of this, the name which is given to this reserve as Agasthyamala Biosphere Reserve. And this region is very much well known for tropical evergreen forest, and even we have grasslands and as well as wetlands. So because of this nature, because of this forest, so it is supporting wide variety of flora and fauna. Okay, and we can see lots of species which are endangered, critically endangered, and as well as vulnerable and endemic species here. So because of this, we can say that there is a very rich biodiversity in this region. And apart from this, we can also get lots of medicinal plants. So because of this, this region is also called as cradle of traditional Indian medicine also. Very important point. Okay, that's it. And let us see the next article. Title says, taken to task. The Supreme Court is right on pushing speakers to act decisively on defections. So actually it is not at all a new topic. Actually it is running from past 5 to 6 years onwards. So the issue here is, you know, Parliament, right? So in Parliament, how many houses we have? So we have 2 houses. What are they? Lok Sabha we have and Rajya Sabha we have. So who is the presiding officer of Lok Sabha? Yes, Speaker. Who is presiding officer of Rajya Sabha? VP, Vice President, right? So you know this concept called as Schedule 10. What is a Schedule 10 is about? Anti-defection law. Okay, so this article is talking about one important schedule, that is Schedule 10. It is about anti-defection law. So whether this anti-defection law present in our original constitution? No, it is not present. So it was added by 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act. So what does this law says? For example, if a person who elected from so-and-so political party, PP, political party, but after winning that election, when he shifted to, for example, let us take he is from political party 1. He shifted to political party 2. Is that right? No, right? So because of this schedule which mainly says that if you are elected from so-and-so political party and if you are shifting to another political party, then you will be detention. Okay. So for this, we came up with this anti-defection law under Schedule 10. Okay, so here under this anti-defection law, there are certain provisions. For example, if you are voluntarily shifting from one PP, that is one political party to another political party, you will be defected. And also, for example, if you are a nominated person, there is certain criteria. If you are an independent person, then again one more criteria. And even there are some exceptions. Like for example, if there is a political party, around 2/3 of that so-and-so political party people, they want to shift to another political party. So can we remove all those people? No. At that time, anti-defection law will not work. So like that, you have to see about what is anti-defection law and some basic facts regarding the Schedule 10, so that there is a very high chance of getting questioned in your prelims. And apart from that, why this article is in news? Because who will decide whether that person is disqualified or not? The authority is solely which is present with this presiding officers. In case of Lok Sabha, it is Speaker. In case of Rajya Sabha, it is Vice President. They will be deciding whether that shifting of so-and-so person from one political party to another political party, which is coming under this anti-defection law or not, whether he is disqualified or not. Who is deciding here? Speaker. So actually one problem here is, yes, we know Speaker is authority. For example, in Lok Sabha. Okay, so what is the time in which, how much time he have to decide that? So there is a one loophole that there is no time framework. There is no time framework to decide whether it comes under this Schedule 10 or not. So it is a problem. So finally this case went to Supreme Court. And now Supreme Court gave the judgment regarding this. What is the authority of Speaker to decide whether a person, whether a political leader changing from one political party to another political party is disqualified or not. So because of this is in news. So this topic is solely important from which subject? From GS paper to under polity. And there is a high chance of getting question regarding your mains and as well as prelims. You will be getting questions from mains and prelims in this area, and you have to be very much careful, guys. And from prelims, you have to see the basic facts regarding Schedule 10, and from mains, you have to see about some analysis part. Okay, now let us see this topic clearly. Okay, so what Supreme Court said now? Supreme Court said Speaker could not use his indecision to defeat the worthy objective of 10th schedule, that is anti-defection law of Constitution. The Supreme Court said that Speaker could not use his indecision. That means he have to take decision for sure. Okay, that is the thing which mainly said here. So here, what is the question before the Supreme Court? The question before the Supreme Court here is, can courts direct speakers acting as a quasi-judicial tribunals to decide anti-defection disqualification petitions within a specific time frame or not? So the question before the Supreme Court here is, what is the time frame in which your speaker need to take the decision regarding whether that so-and-so incident comes under this anti-defection law or not? So this is the question which is before Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said that not taking decision is not right. They have to take certain decisions. So that is the thing which mainly said here. So if you see what are the observations of the Supreme Court here is, Supreme Court stated that it is not powerless if Speaker remains indecisive on disqualification of petitions. So if Speaker is not using this power, is that useful by keeping that Schedule 10 in our Constitution? No. Here speakers, they have to take certain decisions. So it is a thing which mainly said. And this one is, while courts cannot dictate the outcome of disqualification petition, they can direct the speaker to decide within a reasonable period. Such in 2020 itself, the famous case, that is Kesham Megha Chandra Singh versus Speaker Manipur case itself, Supreme Court said that we have to come up with a reasonable time period. So in that time period, Speaker need to decide whether it comes under disqualification or not. And this one is, if Speaker fails to act. So what happens if Speaker is not taking any decision means, now here Supreme Court said, yes, we can intervene now. And we can use Article 142. What is this Article 142? So tell me what is this Article 142 in the comment box. So here Supreme Court said that, yes, if Speaker is not taking any action or not giving any decision or not declaring anything, so now it is our turn. So we will be using Article 142 now. And this one here is, yes, courts also said that if Speaker took the decision and if you have any doubt on that decision, whether if you're not accepted, then there is also judicial review. So in which case it is said, that is Quixote Holland versus Jatilo case of 1992. In that case itself, Supreme Court clearly said it is authority to intervene. The courts can intervene and we can go for judicial review for this decision of Speaker. And next one here is, whenever Speaker is taking any decision regarding whether it comes under disqualification or not, he should be impartial. He should be very neutral. And next one here is, we have to go for establishment of other tribunals regarding this disqualification powers from the Speaker to an independent tribunal. And even one case that is called as Karnataka MLA disqualification case also suggested that if possible we can also come up with other tribunals rather than giving power to the Speaker. So these are the things which mainly happened in the recent past. Okay, now let us see the next article. Title says, a case for the global south in securing Ukraine peace. Okay, so this article is talking about very important issue that is called as Russia-Ukraine issue, right? So from which period it is going on? From 2022 February 24th onwards. So this issue is going on. And recently 3rd year celebrations also had been done. 3rd year anniversary had been done regarding this Russia-Ukraine. Okay, some people are celebrating that. Okay, let it be. So we are not going into that thing. But recently 3rd year anniversary of Russia-Ukraine war had been done. And till now, is there any decreasing of conflict? No. So is there any permanent solution we came up with so far? No. So but this article is saying that we had this concept called as global north and global south. So what is this global south? Global south is nothing but the countries which are belonging to the less developed and developing countries, right? So they form this global south. and global south can play an important role in this Russia-Ukraine. So what is the relationship between this Russia-Ukraine issue and this global south? Actually, this Ukraine and Russia, they'll come under global north. But what these people will do? So if you take example of India, so how many people from Kerala and as well as some other parts of our country went to Russia and they are fighting as a frontline soldiers? Lot of them. It is not only happening with India, but even other countries, right? And even, because of this Russia-Ukraine conflict, there is an issue which is going on not only between these two countries, entire other world is getting affected, right? So in that world, even this global south is also part, and they will be getting more affected compared to that of developed countries. So now this article is saying that global south need to interfere in this Russia-Ukraine issue, and we have to come up with the halt. And even that recently India is also changing its foreign policy regarding this Russia-Ukraine issue. And we also want to involve in this mediation between Russia and Ukraine. So that's the thing which mainly said. And actually that India is the leader of global south. That means India can play an important role in ensuring the peace between this Russia and Ukraine. Okay. So here you have to know about what is this global south concept. So global south, it refers to the countries often characterized as developing and as well as least developed or underdeveloped countries. And which continents are located? Please make a note. They are from Africa, Asia and Latin America. And these nations, what are the problems they are having? They are having high levels of poverty, high levels of income inequality, and even no proper living conditions compared to the of wealthier nations of global north. So what is global north? Global north is nothing but the nations which are richer. They are present in Europe and as well as North America and even some parts of Oceania. That is nothing but Australia region. So here if you say this red color line which is dividing line between global north and global south. Upper part global north, so lower part global south. Okay. And here this Australia part is again global north. It is not at all based on geography. You have to remember this, guys. And now what are the challenges which are faced by this global south? As you all know that they are underdeveloped or developing or least developed. That means progress and economic growth is one important problem. And next one is there is issue of green energy fund. As you all know that, so which countries went for industrial revolution? First, that is global north. They are nothing but developed countries. So they released as much as possible. Whatever it is possible, they already released carbon dioxide emissions. And now if you go to any summit, they are saying that carbon neutrality, we have to decrease emissions, we have to decrease global warming. So what is happening? So who are getting more suffered? That is global south, right? And even developed countries, they said that we are going to provide technology, we are going to provide fund. Are they doing that? So even what happened in this COP29? Whether India is satisfied with that? No. So because of this, the important problem here is lack of development, and they are saying that we should release less amount of this carbon dioxide emissions. That is nothing but there is a issue of green energy fund in this global south. And this one is because of this Russia-Ukraine war also, especially least developed countries, they are getting more affected because of food security, because of energy, because of finance, and even lot of the time we are not getting even funding. And actually what happened recently after this Trump 2.0 came into power? So he also withdrawn from this WHO. So that actually these countries, they need more funds for health, for malnutrition, everything. But now because of this USA coming out of this WHO also, it will be getting affected global south. And next one here is China's interference is also one important problem. What is China's interference? So China says that we are going to develop infrastructure projects, we are going to develop your areas, and they'll come, they'll give loans and they'll complete the project. In return, what happens? They will accept something, right? So if countries are not able to repay the debt, then what happens? They have to give some amount of their territory or something for the lease. So this is the problem which is happening. Especially countries are entering into debt trap. So you can take recent example of Sri Lanka, recent example of Pakistan. And next one is there is also increased power or dominancy of US again now in this Trump 2.0 era. So it is also one important problem which is faced by this global south. And now you can also take an example of this trade war. Okay, and actually, do they have proper resources? No. They are also not having proper resources. That is inadequate access to the resources. It is also one important problem. There is no proper development. There is no proper industrialization. There is no proper employment opportunities. There is no proper providing of basic amenities for the people, especially in Africa. If you go to sub-Saharan Africa, the people, they don't have even basic amenities. And even lots of the tribal people, they are seen in this region, especially in the less developed countries. Okay, so it is one important problem. So all these are the things that you have to see from this global south. And you have to think about what role can be played by this global south in resolving this Russia-Ukraine crisis. Okay, so these are some important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So before that, I want to add one more point. In yesterday's class, we discussed about this Waqf Amendment Bill 2025, right? So finally, with lots of hot debate in the houses, this bill had been passed in both the houses, that is in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, it had been passed, and it is waiting for President assent. And if this President assent will come, means that bill will become an act, and it will bring lots of changes in the Muslim properties under this Waqf boards. Okay, so that is the one update that you have to add. That's all, guys, and we are going to end this for today. And please do like this class and share this class, and do subscribe to Rathore Science Academy, don't forget. And if possible, please do attend live classes. Okay, live classes on this demo, or else you can come and sit in the class for sure. And address is given in the description box, so please see the address. Thank you, guys.